Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Emily Dennis, and I am an assistant professor in the TBI and Concussion Center in the Department of Neurology at the University of Utah School of Medicine, and I am the director of ENIGMA-U. The idea for ENIGMA-U first came a number of years ago when I was on the job market looking for a faculty position and reflecting on all of the wonderful mentors who had gotten me to that point, many of whom still mentor me to this day. A good mentor will invest a fair amount of time and energy into training and teaching you, but it can be hard to find that first mentor who's willing to start right at the beginning. This is made even more difficult for people who don't live close to large research universities. The neuroimaging that we're going to be talking about in this course is mostly magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. These machines cost millions of dollars and they need special buildings, so they're mostly found at research universities and hospitals. It can also be hard if you don't have the luxury of taking an unpaid summer position. Summer research positions are where many people get their start, but in neuroimaging in particular, there's such a wide range of information that you need to have that it's, for the most part, not really feasible to start from scratch training somebody because they won't have finished the training by the end of the summer. For the most part, these are also unpaid positions. This is where we hope ENIGMA-U will come in. We hope to provide a foundation for students to continue learning more about neuroscience and neuroimaging if they're interested in it. One of the things about science is that it's never done. We're never going to know all of the facts about all of the things. And that can be daunting, knowing that your work is never going to be finished and that you're never going to know the truth about everything. But it can also be exciting, and it can be an opportunity because it means that there's always something more to discover and something more to do. It also means that there's always space for people with new ideas who are motivated. Now, this doesn't mean that there's endless jobs in academia. Unfortunately, that's an issue that we'll talk about in the future. But it does mean that there's space for new perspectives and for people who might not otherwise have thought to pursue a career in neuroimaging and academia. So with that in mind, let's get started. What we hope that you will learn through this course are some basics of neuroscience and neuroimaging, including neuroanatomy, neurodevelopment, programming, statistics, and MRI processing. We will try to teach you about the scientific method, including what the process is, how it works, what we actually do, some of the common pitfalls, some of the things that you need to watch out for, and some ethics that we all need to abide by. We will give an overview of disorders of the brain, including a range of neurological, psychiatric, and developmental disorders. And for this clinical disorders section, for the most part, these lectures are going to come from collaborators who are part of the ENIGMA network. The ENIGMA Consortium, which is what we're leveraging for this course, is it's an acronym, stands for Enhancing Neuroimaging Genetics Through Meta-Analysis, and it is a framework for global collaborative analysis of neuroimaging data that was started by my PhD mentor, Dr. Paul Thompson. The general idea of ENIGMA is not that all data are centralized. There isn't a place where all of the data are sent. More, it's a framework for people to collaborate, for people who have common questions to come together and analyze and process their data in a harmonized way, and thus have greater statistical power, which we'll talk about a bit later, to actually find reliable results. So there are more than 2,000 researchers around the world now who are part of ENIGMA, many of whom are separated into different groups based on different clinical questions, different psychiatric, neurological, and developmental disorders. And these, for the most part, are the researchers that you'll be learning from for that section. What we hope to prepare you for, we hope that after completing this course, students will be prepared to seek a research assistant position in a neuroimaging lab to pursue further neuroscience coursework. But even if you aren't taking this course for educational reasons or to further your professional background, we hope that this will turn you into a discerning consumer of science. What I mean by this is being able to assess science just in your daily life. There are often summaries of scientific studies in the media, and it's hard to really convey all of the nuance of science in that format. So what we're hoping is that after you finish this course, you'll know what to look out for and how to actually read those summaries and know what's going on. So course depth, this is a basic survey course, first off. All of the information that we're going to present to you is our best understanding based on what is known currently. Many of it will probably change in a few years. That's one of the exciting things about science. These are not comprehensive courses. It's meant to give you a broad taste of all of the different topics that you might study, and so you can find the pieces that are most interesting to you. And we hope that by taking this course, you will start to get oriented to some of the concepts, become familiar with the terminology, and start thinking through the various, become familiar with the thought processes that we use. This is a current list of the modules. We have an introductory module where we go over some basics like neuroanatomy. We have a scientific literacy module where you'll learn some basic about what science is, how to read scientific papers, how to read lay summaries of scientific papers, as in articles that you might read on CNN. We have a large module about clinical disorders, as I mentioned. We will talk about neuropsychology, research design, programming, some basic statistics, neuroimaging, processing and analysis, and some of the many toolboxes that are available, and ethics. Now, this is the current list, and hopefully we will be adding more in the future. Just some logistics. Some of the courses are required to move on to future coursework. Others are optional. We have been trying to have some optional extra material and resources in most of the courses so that if you're particularly interested in something, you can go into greater depth. If you are completing this course to be matched with a lab for summer research, which is a program that we're in the process of setting up, some of the courses that are optional for the other students might be required for you. And this is something that we will publish. It will be known. It will vary based on which lab you're hoping to be paired with, but we will try to be as transparent as possible with that. We will have assessments throughout. All of the modules will have a number of assessments. They will vary in terms of how many there are and what format there are, so that they're most appropriate for that course. If you have questions, there is support on the website for issues with the website itself. But if you have questions on the content, you can submit these to our email address, which is enigmau22@gmail.com. And we will do our best to respond to those questions or to post responses online if we get a number of similar questions. We're also in the process of setting up a system of office hours where we will schedule and post a time where students can join and talk to some of the researchers who have presented material. We are planning on rotating through topics. So every few months, you'll be able to log in to hear more about a specific topic and ask questions. Evaluations. Evaluations are really important for us to make sure that we are actually accomplishing our goals of teaching you and that we're doing so in an effective way. So if you have feedback, please do let us know. They're also really important for the instructors in their professional development. So please take the time to do these. Some terminology. Neuroscience. Neuroscience is the cross-discipline study of the nervous system. This includes the brain, spinal cord, and peripheral nerves. Neuroimaging is the use of medical imaging technology to evaluate brain structure and function. And for the most part in this course, we're going to talk about magnetic resonance neuroimaging, or MRI. Neurology is the branch of medicine focused on treating disorders of the nervous system. Neuropsychology is the science of assessing cognition or thinking and behavior. Neuroscience, as I said, it's a cross-discipline study. It includes many departments. At universities, for the most part, they don't have a neuroscience department. They mostly have neuroscience programs, which pull from many departments. These can include biology, psychology, computer science, engineering, physics, and others, just a survey of them. And this is one of the exciting things about neuroscience, is that it's really at the intersection of a lot of different fields, and you can pick up a lot of different pieces of knowledge. Neuroscience also is a broad field in terms of scale. You can go all the way down to the micro subcellular resolution or all the way up to the macro scale, whole brain imaging. And this is, for the most part, where we are going to focus with magnetic resonance diffusion, with magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, and related modalities like diffusion imaging or functional MRI.